Good evening. This is Eswatini TV News at 8, read to you by myself, Notilesi Tole, alongside Zamanzi Manze. Let's head straight to the bulletin, shall we? The Minister of Commerce, Mangoba Khumalo, has warned against the targeting and boycotting of certain shops by certain people. The minister further warns against and condemns the vandalism of business properties, which delays the country's efforts to rebuild the economy.
The Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade has noted with grave concern that there are people that are continuing to incite and also encourage others to go and do damage to business. This morning we got concerning reports that another Buy-Cash hardware at Bunya has been set alight and destroyed completely. These are criminal activities that seem to have hijacked the agenda of political reform, and we strongly condemn these actions. The businesses that are damaged end up closing down, and when they close down, people lose jobs, and when people lose jobs, people lose livelihoods, and those people that are affected by the loss of livelihoods become poorer. And as a nation, we are working tirelessly to lift ourselves up from poverty and unemployment. These activities and actions are not helping in that regard. We do believe that we are going to get to a point where, as a nation, we have dialogue, because His Majesty has committed to that a number of times, and in the various platforms where His Majesty has said this, he has been very consistent that it will be all Eswatini that will be given an opportunity to make a contribution to the political future that we will all be aligned to as a nation, because we would have done it together. It therefore is not encouraging to see the criminal elements that are continuing to run campaigns of arson and destruction, and in some cases boycotting, directed at all sectors of the economy. And we, as the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade and the government of the Kingdom of Eswatini, would like to appeal to all Eswatini to discourage this activity, to also talk to each other with the view of making all of us understand that if we destroy what we have, building back will be much more difficult, and we believe there is no room for such anarchy in our society in spite of our differences. In conclusion, the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade assures all businesses and business people, all employees and those people that are benefiting from those businesses, that we are currently giving this matter the highest priority it deserves, and to reiterate again that, as His Majesty King Mswati III has communicated a number of times, dialogue will be initiated with all Eswatini so that we can find an aligned position in terms of our political future as a nation.
The Ministry of Health is pleased to announce that Eswatini residents of Eswatini above the age of 60 and those with comorbidities will be given priority when the Pfizer vaccine is rolled out, along with the 12 to 17 age group. The ministry therefore requests families to help older people by getting them vaccinated, as we target 100% of 60+ years for vaccination, as well as those with comorbidities, to ensure the protection of people at the highest risk of COVID-19 mortality. We further urge parents to encourage their children to get vaccinated as we prepare to launch the campaign for the 12 to 17 years of age. The Pfizer vaccine rollout program will be announced next Monday. We are currently working on delivery logistics in conformity with the vaccine's unique cold chain requirements. We continue to encourage the nation to get vaccinated against COVID-19. All the vaccines are effective and safe for use and will help us avoid a potential fourth wave. The Pfizer vaccine is the first candidate that the Kingdom of Eswatini has received that can be administered to children between the ages of 12 and 17. People can register for vaccination using the COVID-19 vaccination registration link, that is www.eswatinihealth.org. As much as we have moved to adjusted level 1 of the regulations, we still encourage people to wash hands, wear masks, social distance, avoid crowds, and get vaccinated. The director for Biocash Hardware, Jablan Mabuza, has urged the Maswati to desist from burning and vandalizing Biocash hardwares countrywide. Mabuza says a number of Maswati benefit from these shops through employment opportunities and otherwise.
Following the civil unrest in the country, a number of businesses were vandalized and gutted down with fire. The Biocash hardware stores were no exceptions. These hardware stores are still targeted even on this day, as just on the early hours of Monday, another store got burnt down in Punya. The director for the Biocash stores, Jablan Mabuza, appeals to the nation that those responsible for this act should stop, as many people benefit from the business.
Destroy business yengaphani. One, le business ngiyendele kusita bona yendiwe ngimi nje sinemngami kuphela. Labanengi baboshe bathi ayisiyo yabo le business, baqale bathi nginemandiya ngiyabelisa ngebantwana bebantu, bathi abasiyedwa nawuna labanye ngimi nemngami labaqala iBiocash. uNkulunkulu wasisida yaze yakhula ke yabalala ikhona khona. Engqondweni yami kwakunalo ukuthi eMaswati can learn because even if uliswati kukhona longakwenda ukwende kuphumelele just by the very same eMaswati ngekuthi akubambise yakusupport. Ayikake yaphumelela iBiocash yabala ikhona ngemiracle, but eMaswati ahambe ayothenga esitolo ngoba siwasonzedele impahla ayibambisa ibhizinisi ukuthi ikhule. Konke le kwendabo ku-founded kuma-Bible principles. Noma ngabe yini, noma ngabe ungangithola kuphi, nani, I can invite you ukuthi follow my life, nezambe kuhlola nje ukuthi impilo yalo muntu injani. You will find these things lengikhuluma ngayo. Angikwendi lokubi empilweni yomuntu. I've never done anything wrong. Ngakwati kwami, except ke ukuthi a human being is not perfect. Singakhuluma mhlawumbe ngekukhuluma kwethu singaboni ngakufanana, kodwa akusho ukuthi sesititha. That's the type of person I am.
Mabuza says many communities have benefited from the store's social responsibility programs. For Eswatini TV News, Sondo Mlangeni in Babane.
On Monday, SOS Primary School appeared before the Public Accounts Committee, PAC, on unreceived funds. According to the Auditor General's report, the school has funds amounting to 22,800 Malangeni that is not properly received, which was collected as application and admission fees.
When the Public Accounts Committee convened for parliamentary business on Monday, one of the matters debated was that of an Auditor General's report about SOS Primary School. The report shows that there is a 22,800 Malangeni that was not properly received. According to the report, the money was for application and admission fees. Principal of the school, Linda Twala, explained before the committee that these funds was the school's way of raising funds to finance teachers for 3 school trips.
Abavami ukubhadala kuma trips ngetizathu letinye ntike labanato njengebatali nabo, bese ke sisukumisa indlela yokuthi kude kuhambe botishela labalinani lelikahle lelifanele kugadza abantwana singenda njani. Kulapho ke la khona sasikoleka konke sithengisa noma yini lesingayithengisa kuze sakhe imali kuze botishela bakhona kuba enough labahamba kulama trips.
Members of the committee then debated the principal's submissions.
Lapha ngemuva la sisuka khona wathi le mali beniyithatha kwaba imistake. Kusho ukuthi bokuyinhloso vele nento lama fundraising. So we are misleading nje libandla mathuna kwaba imistake. Vena nathi ukuthi nenda ini la. Abangabhadali bona, abahambe mahala. Akubhadale abantu besikole, nikangelani benzane. Ababhadali.
But this man was receipted general public receipt book. Which was kwayiwe esitolo kwathenga i-receipt book kwaresithwa kule receipt book lele engadiwa phinze le mali ayisayina sebhange chairperson. So really angiva kahle lokho ukuthi uma ngabe kokwendele ma trips and all that kuthukuselani kufihlwelani itabe seyisebenzise kanjani i-accountability itawubonakala njani lokho ukuthi vele le mali isebenzela. The fact ukuthi ayizange nje kwathengwa i-receipt book esitolo bati receipt-ela bonke le mali leyo mgunyathi.
Undersecretary in the Ministry of Education and Training, Nhlanhla Motsa, furnished the committee with a circular governing school trips.
It has been noted that teachers do not pay for these trips. The whole cost of these trips are sponsored by parents. This should not happen. This increases the cost of the school trip to the parents. Therefore, it is recommended that teachers pay at least 50% of the cost of the trip to what has been paid by learners. A limited number of supervising teachers per trip should be allowed.
In time of compiling this report, the committee was still discussing the matter. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samkal Suekoza with Fumiko Sinsinisa in Parliament.
On another note, the Public Accounts Committee was left dumbfounded on Monday after learning about the SOS Primary School Chairperson Robert Magongo's 17-year tenure as chairperson of the school. Our reporter Samkal Suekoza has more.
On another note, the Public Accounts Committee were left thunderstruck to know that the current SOS Primary School Chairperson Robert Magongo has been holding this position for a period of 17 years.
Ngeke indoda lengaka ithi ifuna ukuphindza kaningi occasion siyathi lapho ofreni yahle but bengifuna mina ukuthi yini le incentive lengenda ukuthi ngaphenze ngifuna for 4 years 12 years ngiseva iposition yini
semingakhi leminyaka la sayisevile la kule committee la SOS solo nje abakhona la esikoleni how many years noma ke mathem akhe la wasevile nyalo usikhuluma Chairman washo lapho sidala ukuthi sowude umntwana kodwa ke ubuyele kuyoba mshaman kuze mhlambe la masifaka esikoleni
The principal of the school, Linda Twala, explained to the committee when exactly Magongo occupied this position.
Sikolo solo saqala kuba kuhulumende chairperson waba ngumhlonishwa Magongo. Bekufanele aphume nyalo nga-2018 July. Lokusho ukuthi lesikolo sisuka emuva nasisusa kuye SOS nga-2006.
Regional Educational Officer Tamari Langwenya explained what transpired last time the school selected the school's chairperson.
Siyagcizelela sikushicilele ukuthi ukhetha mbani lo legible kungena elekommitini sakufundiswa nje nase-SOS wasitshela Magongo ngaleso sikhathi ukuthi unaye loka 1B wamvuma wa grade 1.
Undersecretary in the Ministry of Education and Training, Nhlanhla Motsa, acknowledged that a mistake was made. A school chairperson should not occupy a position this long. At the time of compiling these reports, discussions about the matter were still ongoing. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samkal Suekoza with Fumiko Sinsinisa in Parliament.
The Eswatini Communications Commission launched a 2-week training between Eswatini TV and independent film producers aimed at improving local content. The training is held at Sibebe Resort.
The Eswatini Communications Commission has sponsored and facilitated a 2-week training of independent film producers, and Eswatini TV aimed at empowering the independent film producers and how best they can improve their work. There would be 13 facilitators who would be facilitating an ongoing workshop at Sibebe Resort. The acting head of programs, Mpumelelo Mnisi, says this workshop will bring an insight and expectations of quality from the film producers in order to improve their television content.
The training has been designed in different phases, and this one being the first phase. The modules have been designed in such a way that we wanted to fill the gaps that mostly affect our industry. Some of our modules include film production, sound, art of photography, and more.
FSJ Holdings Victor Mabuza, who is one of the facilitators, says through this partnership, Eswatini actors and film producers will go to South Africa, and South African actors will be coming to Eswatini, and this will help marketing, promoting, and also improve the production of local content on the local television screen.
The best and experienced SA actors to participate in local Eswatini productions, as well as enabling and empowering local Eswatini actors to participate in South African productions. So in other words, it's very important for us that we bring your well-known actors that you see on South African screens, in your Isibaya, in your Gomora.
Eswatini TV's acting CEO Kenneth Mazia says this partnership dated back in 2018, where they first engaged independent film producers.
Without quality content, it is not possible to attract, let alone retain viewership. Quality content is also at the heart of regulatory bodies such as ESCOM, in our case, who are not only gatekeepers in terms of industry ethics and values, but also protect viewers from being shortchanged by broadcasters in the area of serving their viewers with high-quality produced content. It makes me very excited, therefore, to be here today to witness the convergence of all our industry stakeholders, literally manifesting the aspiration to build a better film and TV industry in Eswatini.
Speaking on behalf of the film producers was its chairperson, who says they are grateful for such an opportunity. The training will take 2 weeks. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Kiani Msibi with Sondomlangeni, Sbebe Resort.
Farmers in the kingdom will be able to showcase their different products in the Farmers' Day regional shows. The Director for Agriculture, Nelson Mavuso, says the show's main aim is to provide platform for farmers to showcase their products.
Farmers in the country have been presented with an opportunity to showcase their product, courtesy of the Ministry of Agriculture and the Eswatini National Agricultural Union and other stakeholders. The theme for this year's Farmers' Day is enhancing profitability of smallholder farmers' enterprise. According to the Director for Agriculture in the Ministry of Agriculture, Nelson Mavuso, says this platform allows farmers to showcase their products. Mavuso says all kinds of agricultural products will be allowed to be showcased. Mavuso says these shows are facilitated in the absence of the national shows where farmers were able to showcase their product at a national level.
Kusuke lapho siyofundzisa balimi utarget inkampani tifundise ngama products awo sikubita njenge after sale service, in fact, where ema farmers afika ato approver ukuthi lokhu bekushiwo kuleti inkampani ngalesikhathi sathengisa lama products kungiko yini.
Mavuso uthi wonke umlimi uvumelekile ukuthi angakhangisa leyo mkhicido yakhe. Kanti ke ngalesibili kutawuqala sifundza saselibonjeni kukhangisa, bese ke kulandzela sifundza sakamanzini, kulandzele sifundza sakahoho, bese kugcina sifundza sasenshiselweni. Etindzabeni kubika Sondomlangeni, eMbabane.
And now we'll have a look at our financial markets.
Standard Bank. It can be.
Good evening once again. You are still watching Eswatini TV. Let's have a look at our sports news. Eswatini Coaches Association Secretary General Musa Mamba says clubs, in conjunction with the Premier League of Eswatini, should prioritize the welfare of their coaches. Mamba says in preparation of the new season, clubs should ensure that they do pay their coaches and do so on time.
In preparations for the new season of 2020-2021, Eswatini Coaches Association is pleading with club owners and club directors to prioritize welfare of their coaches.
Kumcoka ukuthi coach ahole kahle ngoba phela bo coach nabo labanyenti lesinabo baphila.
According to the Secretary General of the association, Musa Mamba, coaches should receive their salaries on time and regularly. Mamba says with the support of the Premier League of Eswatini, coaches should also have valid contracts, knowing that their term with the club will last for how long. Mamba says if this is done accordingly, then coaches will provide results for their clubs.
Most of all, nalo ukuthi ke coach sebam recruitile nyalo, so uhambile kani team bese ithi seyithole coach, lokho siyakuzama as an association and siyafisa nalo ukuthi iPLE isibambise kuloko ukuthi labo coach phela ababe nema contract lema teamini.
On another note, Mamba concluded urging coaches to get their license ahead of the new season, as those who will fail to provide so will be charged. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msonera with Linda Dlamini, Babane.
Chairman of Eswatini Referees Association, Paul Gunene, says youth referees from the regions give them hope that the future of local referees is indeed bright. Gunene says they are hoping to use the same referees to officiate in different leagues, such as Women's League and the Under-17 League, to monitor their progress. Gunene was speaking during the workshop of the youth coaches currently being held at Sukaka House in Babane.
Eswatini Referees Association continue with different programs of capacitating local referees. Since July this year, the association began by capacitating referees within the Premier League and National First Division, then proceeded with match commissioners. They are now concluding with youth referees who are mostly officiating in regional football and Super League. According to the chairman of the association, Sipogunene, youth referees from the regions give them assurance that the future of the referees in the country is indeed bright. Gunene says that it is their hope that most of them will get a chance to officiate different leagues such as the Under-17 and Women's League in the near future. Amongst the 20 youth referees who are attending the workshop, 8 of them are female, while 12 are male. The workshop will last for 5 days. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msonera, Mbabane.
And with that, we sum up our bulletin for the evening. Up next is the weather update from myself and the crew. Thank you for your company. Good night.